Hello, I'm Anne Heywood, American realist, and my pastel paintings are represented by the Portland Art Gallery in Portland, Maine. I was born in Newport, Rhode Island, and I've called New England and Italy home at various times in my life. I've been a professional artist since 1990, and during my career, I've created thousands of paintings, instructed hundreds of adults in workshops around the country, written numerous articles for art magazines, and authored and illustrated my book, Pastels Made Easy. The first time I came to Maine in the 1980s was to stay for a weekend with my in-laws at their rustic summer camp on the Damascotta Lake. In spite of the outhouse, Midcoast Maine was love at first sight, and to this day, that area remains a great painting inspiration for me. Today I'm going to give you an audible tour of my work. I'll start with a quick outline of how I make my art and what I want my art to do, and then tell you about a selection of 6 pieces and how I fostered feelings and moods in them. There are 3 basic steps that every painting I make goes through. First, an aha moment. There's so much to choose from in nature, so the subject has to speak to me, and the louder the better. That said, the subject also has to have a most important ability. It has to make me think and feel. Since I am attracted to quiet and simple and understated mystery and subtle humor, I look for one or more of those qualities in potential painting subjects. I can get so wrapped up in this process that I oftentimes choose the title for the painting at this point, well before the painting has even started. I find that putting into words the thoughts and feelings that are my response to the subject helps to give me a focus when painting. The second step is creativity. I paint in a realistic style, yet I put a lot of personal creativity into my paintings. How so? Well, for me, painting is not a what you see is what you get situation, but more of a what you see is what you create with. As you can imagine, I'm very visual, so although I can imagine creative solutions, I get a much better feeling for creative solutions if I can see them. So I first work up quick black and white sketches in order to visualize what a painting will look like under different creative circumstances. Each sketch is different and explores different solutions. For instance, if I take some elements out, what would that look like? Or, if the subject is larger, would that be better? And on, try this, try that. This is how I make the subject my own. This is also the most creative part of the painting for me. Some sketches go on to become paintings, but many do not. Step 3 is the painting itself. Using the black and white sketch and photos as guides, the painting starts with a simple underdrawing on a textured surface, so picture a fine sandpaper, but professional artist quality. Then layers upon layers of colorful pastel. And all during the painting process, I keep in mind my original focus, communicating feelings and moods with my work. Now let me show you what I mean with 6 of my landscapes. Peace. A leafy green tree stands at the top of a small rise surrounded by thick green grasses. The light is low. The last rays of a summer day are falling. Thick, long foreground grasses lead the viewer into the painting, to the tree. The entire scene is painted in variations of greens and blues, with some cool yellow on the sunlit areas of the tree and in the sky where the sun's rays linger. The relaxing colors and the simple tranquility of this quiet scene lend it a feeling of peace. Two tables. 2 wooden tables sit alone, side by side, close but not touching, in a mown field with a line of trees in the background distance, arranged with a central opening as if they were stage curtains. So the suggestion of a body of water is just beyond that. The tables themselves, while not touching, cast one shadow. When most viewers look at this piece, their first reaction usually is, why are these two tables just sitting there with nothing much of anything else around them? And yet, this simple arrangement is almost hypnotizing. It's hard to look away from those tables. They have a mysterious relationship. Two tables poses a mystery, one that opens up to many creative interpretations. By the bridge. Pathways have always played a strong compositional element in my work. Many years ago, in fact, a gallery owner asked me for more pathway pieces. And all the way back from the gallery, I was wondering what she was talking about. Then when I arrived at the studio and looked at my work, I saw for the first time my tendency to include visual pathways in my pieces. By the Bridge is one of them. A scene of the Damariscotta River as it flows between the towns of Damariscotta and Newcastle. In this piece, the river is one pathway leading the viewer into the beautiful distance, and the cloud formation above, which I arranged, forms another visual pathway. Viewers are strongly pulled into this painting to enjoy the happy, bucolic, and colorful scene. The break 2. Sunshine spills out from a break in the clouds and onto the surface of the ocean below. I grew up in Newport, Rhode Island, and so was never far from a beach and the ocean, so you could say the ocean and its sound and smells were ingrained in my soul at a young age. The break 2 is a simple scene, but one that encompasses the ocean's light, smells, and sounds. I enhanced a natural break in the clouds on an overcast day to allow sunlight to just kiss the ocean's surface, thereby creating a pathway of light for viewers to follow. To me, this piece speaks of hope and anticipation. 6:03, Feet. This is a powerful sunset scene with roiling clouds, a 3-tree island and tree line in silhouette against the colorful sky, foreground lake waters reflecting the many colors. But it's the feet peeking up from the foreground that make this a special sunset. Someone is there. I don't usually include figures in my pieces, but sometimes do include suggestions of people, such as these feet. The feeling in this piece, put your feet up. It's 6 o'clock and time to relax. The water bucket. A pool slide sits on a floating raft in a lake. I painted all the other pieces in this tour with pastels, which are similar to chalk, but this piece was painted with oil pastels, which are similar to crayons. I enjoy both media, but oil pastels takes me back to my childhood, belly down on the living room rug, having fun with coloring book and crayons. The subject of Water Bucket does the same. Now, for those of you who may not have ever played on a slide, on a raft, in a lake before, and I imagine a few of you have not, in order to have an enjoyable experience, one needs a bucket of water to wet the slide before actually sliding down it and into the lake. I will not explain here what happens without that bucket of water, but I'm sure you can imagine it. And now you can understand why I could not have entitled this piece any differently, given the importance of that bucket, the smallest but most important object in this scene. So what is the feeling of this piece? This one's all about fun and humor to me. Thank you so much for joining me today for an audio tour of 6 of my paintings. I do hope you enjoyed hearing these behind the painting stories as much as I enjoyed sharing them with you. If your interpretations of my paintings are the same or different than mine, I am equally pleased. It means that my work has indeed communicated feelings and moods.